Okay, let's talk about Jedi Apprentice Special Edition Book 1 Deceptions by Jude Watson. These special edition books are weird. There are only two of them, and she never did this with from Jedi Quest to Last of the Jedi, which honestly makes sense. But these were to bridge the Qui-Gon Obi-Wan stuff with the Obi-Wan Anakin stuff. The first half of these books would be an Obi-Wan Qui-Gon adventure. The second half would be an Obi-Wan Anakin adventure that kind of concludes open-ended adventures. This first one's interesting because there are a couple schools of thought as to where you should read this if you're reading in chronological order. The first school of thought is to do what I did, which is read in publication order because, well, this adventure takes place. The second half of it takes place after Phantom Menace, so you would read it after all the Jedi Apprentice books are done. There's a school of thought that you should read this whole book between Jedi Apprentice books 10 and 11, because of the Obi-Wan Qui-Gon adventure takes place right about there. There's a third school of thought, which are the people who have to read every chapter in chronological order. It's people that take the Bounty Hunter Wars books and then read certain chapters out of order because they happen all over the timeline. Those kind of people are like, read this here and then read this here. And that's just a bad way to read a book, period. So I'm of the opinion not to read this book between books 10 and 11 because it not only spoils Phantom Menace, it spoils Jedi Apprentice plot lines from later books. So the first half of this book is Obi-Wan is being questioned about what happened to Brooke Chun by Brooke Chun's father. They're putting a criminal suit against Obi-Wan, who's 13 years old. And at the same time, Qui-Gon is being sent away with Tal on like a special mission of sabotage of the Jedi Starfighter program. Then, years later, Anakin and Obi-Wan they meet up with the same characters that were involved in the Starfighter program, but also Brooke Chun's brother's involved, and there's like a sabotage there. And they kind of commingle together. So, what did I think of Deceptions? I thought it was pretty decent. It does some things that are kind of wonky. The first thing is I think Jude Watson wrote this book solely to retcon the Qui-Gon Tal romance to give it more substance, because it kind of comes out of the blue. If you want to be really critical with Jedi Apprentice as a series overall, that's probably the thing to be most critical about, is it just kind of comes out of left field. There's not a lot of build up to the whole Tal trilogy and why Qui-Gon goes like crazy for her. So they build up a kind of romance in this very briefly. I think the strongest points are with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Brooke Chun's brother. And the hatred and like the overarching plot line of it. The other big thing is Jude Watson did her homework when writing the Obi-Wan Anakin stuff, because this is, I think, publication-wise, is the first time she's writing Anakin Skywalker. And she takes continuity with character traits from Rogue Planet. Now, at the time, Rogue Planet was the only Obi-Wan Anakin story. You gotta think of it like that. There wasn't anything. I mean, maybe the Approaching Storm was. I think the Approaching Storm was out, but Anakin's a lot older than in that. This happens like right before Rogue Planet, because she has to do a little wonky retcon with this isn't a mission, and they make it very clear, because in Rogue Planet, that's Obi-Wan and Anakin's first mission together. In Deceptions, they're sent on a mission, but it's not technically a mission. It's like some sort of policing investigation. and but Anakin keeps calling it a mission. It's kind of like a joke. So it's and Anakin has his whole thing obsession with droids and stuff that's similar to what's going on in Rogue Planet. He acts similar, so that's pretty nice. Overall, I think it's a decent character story, but the story itself's kind of just because like it's two half stories and they don't quite mesh together well because there's such a time gap between the two. I look forward to tackling the next one because that's going to be interesting. But in the meantime, we have other stuff to review. So anyway, I would give this 4 out of 5 stars. It's well worth your time. It's the Jude Watson quality, but you know, it's a little wonky. So anyway, have a good one.